Let's talk about the importance of KPIs and actually how to use that information in your business. Check it out. Fam, what's up? Welcome back to the Less Business, More Profit series, Business 101. Lean, effective, strategic, and simple business. All right, let's talk about KPIs. This topic, I've already covered it in a lot of videos before this, right? But I don't think we've ever dialed in how to use the KPIs, how to actually use those metrics in your business, right? So tracking the KPIs is one thing, and then being able to interpret that information and then tweak it, move it, and apply it in a way that it works for your business is a totally different game, all right? So that's what I want to cover right now. I'm gonna give you guys an overview of something that I did a couple of months back where I started spending a lot of money, and if it wasn't because I was tracking the KPIs the right way, I wouldn't have been able to even see it, and I would have spent a ton of cash on stupid things in my business. And before I jump right into it, I want to ask you that if you like the videos that I'm putting out there for you guys on a regular basis and the content that I'm sharing, spread the love, right? Subscribe, like, share, talk to somebody else who you think might need to see this information, and then pass it on, all right? And if you want to learn about coaching when it comes to real estate, let me know, REIWholesaling.com. All right, with that being said, let's talk about how to use the information that you get from your KPIs. KPIs are your key performance indicators, right? First off. So a KPI is a number, it's a metric that's gonna tell you how your business is doing in any given action, okay? So for example, if you're calling a lot of people because that's the nature of your business, one of your KPIs is gonna be reach, all right? How many people are you reaching on a regular basis? Another KPI is gonna be the gross revenue, right? Because you need that to figure out the net revenue. And there's different metrics, and there's another whole video just breaking down. Actually, we put a short series together on KPIs. So go back to the YouTube channel and then look up KPIs, and that's going to give you the top KPIs that are found in any business out there. So it's kind of like an evergreen thing, right? So what I want to do though is I want to show you guys how I use that information to fix my my revenue going into it, and then not spend or not waste tens of thousands of dollars going forward in my business because I was putting money in the wrong place, right? So a few months back, I'll use my, I own a couple of different companies. I'm gonna use my wholesaling business as an example, right? So in my wholesale business, we were doing a marketing that's text messaging, SMS, mass marketing, right? So we were applying that text messaging campaign, and it gets pricey because you're reaching tens of thousands of people, right? So it gets pricey. Well, what happened with that side of marketing is that carriers, cell phone carriers, started getting a lot more strict in letting those text messages go through. So a lot of it was being non-deliverable, meaning that it wasn't making it over to the people that we were originally intended to reach, right? So what happens? You're wasting money, but it's not making it over. So it's like you're just throwing money out into the wind and then not ever seeing it again, right? So that's one of the mechanics of what was happening. That was it. However, every single week, I have a meeting with my team and we track KPIs. We have a very specific set of metrics that we track for each one of the campaigns, for the business overall, and in terms of how the business is doing and that sort of thing, right? So we had multiple meetings. So for multiple weeks, we started seeing the decline of the return on investment on that campaign, right? So meaning that we were putting money into it, and we tried to fix it with more money, which was a mistake. But we were putting the same amount of money, and then the result was less and less and less and less and less. And gradually was like so tiny that it made absolutely no sense, right? So it just was pretty much I was wasting money on that marketing campaign. The reason we were able to catch it was because, again, I was tracking those KPIs. Now, I tried to put more money into it and then ramp it up, see if it got fixed or whatnot. It didn't work. Eventually, we had to stop that process and then shift into something different, right? So this is really what it looked like. So this is one of the scorecards that we work off of, right? So you can see that we're tracking by weeks here. We're tracking by weeks, boom, 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 boom. And this goes, I mean, there's a whole set of information. This thing slides over and out and whatnot. But this is a 4-week span, right? So in this week, we were hitting the reach, deliverability, response, conversations, and we were tracking this, right? And then we saw a decline. we were looking for a good lead count. So we went from 8 leads here, which is a very, very small number, to 6, and then to 3, and then to 2. All right. So we were still spending quite a bit of cash on this thing. And this is actually a couple of months before that, we were spending a lot more money, but we started to see the decline, right? Eventually got to a point where the leads and the prospects were non-existent. So we decided to scratch that campaign. Then what happened? We stopped for the next 5 weeks because we were doing some research on that. All right. But the KPIs, just seeing the decline here, and I don't know if you can see the numbers or not, but if you can't, it's irrelevant, right? Just understand that we were looking at healthy numbers at the beginning of the year, and then because we're tracking the KPIs, we start to see that number decline. So we were going from 30 leads, 40 leads on a regular basis to 25 leads, 20 leads, while still spending the same amount of cash, and then to 15 leads, 10 leads a week, 5 leads, eventually making it all the way down to 2 leads a week, which is it's absolutely not it's not acceptable, right? So what do? You retarget, you pivot. You see that information from your KPIs, and then you go back and then you try to re-engineer what can work. It's important. In this case, I'm using this as an illustration, right? But it happens in business all the time. KPIs are not just about tracking the numbers and then having a glorified sense of busy work. It's about using that information and actually applying it to your business in a manner that it makes sense, so you can pivot and you can improve the business from within. What we did here was do research. So we stopped wasting money, right? We stopped wasting money, and then we went back to doing some research and figured out a solution for it. Came back about a month and a week later, and then we started dropping the campaign. So we came in, we fixed it. We fixed the problem, but we wouldn't have even known that there was a problem in a low return on investment if I wasn't tracking the KPIs, right? So it's important. And then what happens? We started, spending money on it. Then we started, with a low lead count because we were still testing, getting into it. However, we were still tracking every single week. That consistency is going to get you places, I am telling you. So 7, 18, 19, 20. Now build it back up to a point where we're having about 50, anywhere from 40 to 50 leads on a weekly basis just from this one strategy, right? And we're still, we're spending money, but it correlates with the amount of leads that we're getting. It makes sense. And the cool thing about tracking your KPIs and being able to come back and then shift and pivot is that you have that information readily available. It's not something that you can ask a guru. Okay, what am I supposed to be getting out of this? Your business is going to be different than the next person's, just because of the data that you're using in this case, right? Or the platforms that you're using. And there's always going to be variations. So it's important to track your own KPIs and then come in and understand that you have to decipher them. You have to take a quick look at the information, at least on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, and see how you can come in and improve the business. Right, so it's not just about tracking and having this big badass scorecard where it's full of numbers and it looks real smart, but you can't do shit with the information because you don't know how to read it. It doesn't work that way, right? Use that information that you're collecting. It takes you enough work and effort to put it all together. Figure out how you can lean it out, how you can create a better process. How can you get rid of redundancies in your business? How can you improve the return on investment on a marketing campaign, on employees, on performance, on vendors, on contractors? All that stuff matters, right? But understand that KPIs are a dashboard. You still have to come in and then decipher the information, tweak it, and make it work, right? You have the ability to come in and then start shaping this business or whatever business you're in the way that it best fits your lifestyle, right? Understand that. Again, so I wanted to give you guys an example of how to use the information that you find in your KPIs and how much of an impact it can have, all right? It saved us thousands, tens of thousands of dollars just in a matter of about maybe 2.5 months. Track your KPIs. What gets measured gets improved. And have improvement sessions, right? Go back and then reanalyze that information, take a look at it, reach out to somebody else if you don't know what to do with it. But there's always strategies, there's always value, there's always gold that you can find within those numbers, right? Stay focused, you got this. Let's go.